Alright guys, what is going on? BusterBarnes here, bringing you my preview of Chelsea's first home game of the season against the current Premier League champions, Liverpool. Lampard versus Jurgen Klopp again. I'm going to be giving you guys my prediction on the team to face Liverpool and also my prediction for the score as well. If you guys do enjoy this preview, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the BusterBarnes YouTube channel. I'll be bringing previews for all of Chelsea's games this season, as well as reviews as well. You'll be able to catch the review of the Liverpool game on Sunday after the match happens. So before I get into the Chelsea team, just a quick note on Liverpool. Obviously, over the summer, all they've done so far is sign that new left back, that Greek left back, who will I assume just be cover for Andy Robertson. They've also sold Adam Lallana on a free as well. But recently, the rumours have been abuzz about Thiago. Apparently he's agreed terms with Liverpool. Apparently that transfer is about to be made. And a great world-class player Thiago is. He'll definitely be, there's not too many ways Liverpool could improve their team. But, the midfield is sort of the area where you think they could, have a bit of flair, have a bit of quality in there. And Thiago definitely adds that over some of their other midfielders, and also age as well plays a factor on some of the other midfielders too. Not that Thiago's young, but he's a bit younger than players like Milner and Henderson, for example. Chelsea, obviously, on the other hand, have done a lot of transfer business. They just came off a 3-1 win against Brighton, where we didn't see all of their new players. Chelsea have been hit with a bit of, injury troubles, as well as players through the break not being fit enough yet. Obviously Thiago Silva making it back from the Champions League final, so he had some extended time off. Ben Chilwell carrying on with an injury as well. So not everyone is in Chelsea, and Chelsea aren't all fully clicking yet, as we saw against Brighton, where it was maybe a bit of a flattering result. But I said in my last review video, which you guys can check out, that I did think Brighton fans would be a bit, underwhelmed and feel a bit annoyed that they didn't come away with a point, at least a point, in that match against us. But, we'll take the win. And, considering the fact that, Chelsea didn't really have a pre-season, we only had the one pre-season game against Brighton. Some of our players had no pre-season at all because, if they weren't picked up for international duty and they were unable to play that Chelsea game, they literally had, no fitness preparation, no sharpness preparation. And I think you could really see that in the Brighton game, just the Brighton team were just a lot fitter than our team were. But, with that game in the bag, I think there was a game behind closed doors as well. Hopefully our Chelsea players are edging towards full fitness. You could really see the players that had been on international duty, like Timo Werner, Christensen, Kante, Jorginho. Those were the players that sort of looked to be fit, whereas other players that didn't feature seemed to be a little bit off the pace. So I guess we'll see how that converts over to the Liverpool match as well. Okay, so the only team news that really can be reported, Frank Lampard's press conference did just end about an hour ago when I'm recording this video. The only team news that is reported is that obviously Kovacic is back from his suspension when he picked up that red card against Arsenal, that controversial red card anyway in the FA Cup final. With injuries, Timo Werner picked up a bit of a knock, but he is completely fine and fit for the Liverpool game. Apparently that knock he picked up was in the first half when he won that penalty against Brighton. He played the rest of the match, so surely he's going to be okay. Pulisic and Ziyech, Chilwell, all still not fit, still carrying their injuries, unfortunately. Hopefully they'll all be back in the team soon. And Thiago Silva, whilst he is training with the squad, pictures have emerged of him training with the players that are very exciting, and apparently he's just not quite fit enough yet. I didn't think he would be anyway, personally. I thought that he might actually debut him in the game against Barnsley, I believe it is, in the Carabao Cup. So I think that'll be a game where we sort of introduce a few of the new players, some players that haven't played yet, and try and get their fitness a bit up. But if we do get on to my predicted lineup of this game against Liverpool, there are maybe one or two changes from the team that we used to face Brighton. Obviously, I got some right and some wrong when I predicted the Brighton lineup, so I guess we'll see what happens with this Liverpool lineup. Hopefully, I can get everyone right. And to be fair, guys, like I said before in the previous episode, this lineup video isn't just going to be like, it will mainly be what I think is going to happen, not necessarily what I want to happen. It'll be the players that I think are going to start, but obviously if I'm having a bit of a toss up between one or two players that I don't know who's going to play, I'll just go with the one that I prefer. So just to say that at the start before I get people arguing, debating why certain players have not been included. But, you know, for a player that we actually don't want to be included in the team first, that is going to be Kepa Arrizabalaga. Maybe that's a little bit harsh, but, you know, against Brighton, he just showed more of the same. You know, to be fair to him, he was a little bit more active. I did see him coming out a bit more for the ball, and, you know, it was sort of maybe signs of him going on the right track. But, again, that goal he conceded just shouldn't have been conceded from that distance. You know, he had time to make the save, and he just couldn't, unfortunately. So, yeah, it just looks like more of the same from him. No news yet on Eduardo Mendy, or no further news at least when he's coming in. Hopefully it's soon. I really want to see this deal done like pretty much immediately after the Liverpool game, because I do not want to see Kepa starting for us, you know, after that point. You know, maybe he'll have to start against West Brom as well, but I really am just begging for a new goalkeeper at this point. Going on to right back, we are going to have the man of the match of the Brighton game, Reece James. Obviously scored that absolute banger, and, you know, got the assist as well from a corner, which, I mean, you know, set pieces, we didn't concede one, guys, against Brighton, and we actually scored one. So maybe that's a step in the right direction, although I'm pretty sure all of Liverpool's goals against Leeds, were all from set pieces. So that is a little bit scary, to say the least. But yeah, Reece James obviously going to start again. Was just great against Brighton. No reason to, you know, try and, you know, put a stunt in his momentum. He's going to carry that on. And, you know, I wouldn't say his Brighton performance was a perfect one. You know, he did get beat a few times one-on-one. But again, there is, you know, fitness issues as well. He did get injured during the international break for the under-21s and had to come back. So you can maybe put it down to that as well. But we will be looking for a much bigger performance from him defensively when he is against Sadio Mane. That is going to prove to be a big test for the young Englishman. Going to left back, I'm going to select Cesar Azpilicueta. Didn't start against Brighton, I think mainly probably because of fitness issues. He did get injured against Arsenal in the FA Cup final. Yeah, just an early prediction, guys. If Alonso starts against Liverpool, we will lose. That is honestly what I think is going to happen. If I see Alonso in that starting 11, there's honestly no hope. Him against Salah is not going to be pretty. Him against Alexander-Arnold is not going to be pretty. Alonso cannot start this game. It has to be Azpilicueta, who will just, you know, give a bit more of a defensive boost to the team. Yeah, I know he's right-footed, and maybe he won't offer as much of an attacking threat, but when you're against, you know, Salah and, you know, Trent, you really need to make sure that your defence is secure there. So I think Azpilicueta should start at left-back, captaining the side. The two centre-backs are going to be the same as the game against Brighton now. Do I trust Zuma and Christensen as a defensive duo? No, because they didn't perform very well together last season. I think they're both very good centre-backs. Obviously, Zuma, I believe, was our best centre-back last season. However, for some reason, as a duo, they don't really seem to work or click that well. However, against Brighton, I do think they were both quite good. I wouldn't say that they were, you know, at fault for any of the defensive frailties, really. I actually think they both performed quite well. It was more down the flanks that we were suffering a bit from, like Lamptey and, you know, March and players like that. But yeah, those two I think are going to have to start together. You know, if they both have good performances. Christensen is very up and down. He could definitely have a stinker against Liverpool. But, you know, let's hope that that doesn't happen. I'm going to have those two starting in the centre of defence. And I was, you know, I'm going to arming with the midfield, whether to go for a midfield 3 or a 4-2-3-1. If I'm actually predicting what Lampard's going to do, I think we're going to stick with the 4-2-3-1. So in the pivot, I've got Kante and Kovacic. Kovacic coming in for Jorginho. Jorginho I didn't think had necessarily an awful game against Brighton. Obviously he got the penalty and he got an assist. However, defensively, you know, he did get dribbled past a few times. I don't think he was as solid as some people said. You know, obviously with Azpi back in the squad, we don't really need him to captain. And, you know, Kovacic can, you know, he can do the defensive work and can also drive up the pitch as well through Liverpool's midfield, or at least hopefully he can. So he definitely has to come back into the team. Chelsea's obviously former player of the season from last year. And Kante I thought was actually very good against Brighton. You know, it wasn't an amazing performance again. I don't think him and Jorginho like necessarily clicked that well. However, you know, he looks like the fit Kante we all want him to be, you know, making tackles and interceptions. And I think with more games, he'll get back to, you know, that quality that we can expect from him. In the number 10 role, I'm actually going to go, if I'm predicting, I'm going with Mason Mount. Loftus-Cheek unfortunately didn't have a great game against Brighton, and whilst I still back him to have, you know, improve and, you know, have a good season, I think that, you know, if you don't have a good performance against Brighton, you can't really be playing against Liverpool. So he comes out. Mason Mount is going to be at that number 10 cam role, which I don't think is really his best position. He does sometimes struggle there. However, I think of his work rate and the fact that he starts to press, it could be quite crucial to, a Liverpool defence that has made a few mistakes lately, that maybe isn't as fit or as solid as they were last season or the season before. So I think maybe if he could, start at, cam and maybe catch someone out, a player out, and, that could lead to a goal. So I think Mason Mount probably is the right guy to start at number 10. Ross Barkley played quite well against Brighton, but I don't really trust him to start consistently. That is just my note on Ross Barkley. Going to right wing, I'm actually going to play Havertz again now. He didn't have a great performance against Brighton, but, he did show some signs of quality. He wasn't very fit. He didn't have a pre-season at all. And I think, this is the time where you want to, test your players, your new signings against big teams like Liverpool. And obviously, with Pulisic and with Ziyech out, this is another reason why he's starting on the right now. I would actually quite like to see Lampard start Hudson-Odoi, but I don't know, he didn't start against Brighton, so part of me just doesn't think he's going to start against Liverpool. Maybe Lampard's still trying to be careful with his younger players and, sort of ease them in a bit to the squad. Obviously Hudson-Odoi did come back from that injury last season, seemed to improve a bit towards the end, but, I guess you can never be too careful. Obviously, he's a very young player as well, still a teenager, so he's got plenty of years ahead. He doesn't necessarily have to be starting every single game for us. This moves me now to the left wing and the striker role, which this could, turn a few heads, might be a bit controversial, but I'm actually going with Timo Werner to start on the left wing and Tammy Abraham to start up front, which I know that they obviously didn't start together against Brighton. However, with the injuries to the wings and with Loftus-Cheek, I don't think he'll start. And I don't think that Mason Mount is the guy you want on the left wing against Liverpool. Liverpool obviously very attacking. They have Salah on the right, they have Trent. And Trent didn't look too great. Obviously, he came back from an injury. He's not, fully fit. So I'm kind of thinking, if you have someone with Werner's pace and Werner's, awareness and him buzzing around the defence, I think he could really cause some issues for Alexander-Arnold and Joe Gomez as well, as obviously they're both two very young defenders. So I think starting Timo Werner on the left, obviously he's a good presser as well. I think him with Mount in the middle and Havertz on the right could prove to be very troublesome for the Liverpool defence. Whether it is able to break them down. Liverpool could have just had an off game against Leeds, so maybe they'll be back to their defensive solidity. Who knows? But I'd actually start him on the left wing, Abraham up front. I think it'd be nice to see how him and Werner link up. I think he does deserve to start. He was our top scorer last season. Obviously, I don't think he was fully fit for the Brighton game. Didn't really have a pre-season either. Didn't really play for England when he got called up to the national team. So obviously with a week's rest, a week's training, I think that Tammy Abraham should get a go at starting against Liverpool. Actually scored against them in our last fixture against them. And a note on that as well, obviously last season in the Premier League we lost to Liverpool both times, so to get a result in this game could prove crucial in showing the improvement of the squad in general. Obviously, like I said, there's a few injuries, but that could really help us see where we are from this season compared to last. Obviously against Brighton we actually drew this fixture last season against them, and we actually ended up getting all 3 points, so that's already a bit of an improvement there. Hopefully we can keep that up. But yeah, that was my starting 11. Please let me know down below in the comments what your guys' starting 11 would be. Would you start Tammy Abraham and Timo Werner as well? Maybe we'll see that. Maybe we'll see a different formation. Maybe we'll see a 4-3-3. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And that will lead me on to my score prediction for the game. And I'm trying to be a bit optimistic here, guys. I do think that, with a fully fit team, we'd be able to really push that Liverpool defence. And, with Thiago Silva in, with a new goalkeeper in. But the fact that Kepa's in goal, the fact that we've got some injuries, the fact that I'm going to be optimistic, however, because, guys, to be honest with you, obviously me being a Chelsea fan, there is going to be, very, little chance that I'm going to ever predict us to lose games. Just because I don't like doing it. I don't like, backing my team to lose a game. So you're just not ever going to really see it unless it's like a crazy mental circumstance, like, the next fixture in the Champions League against Bayern last season, where we just had nothing to play for. I might have predicted a loss then, but that's not going to happen. However, I want to be sort of realistic. I don't think we'll win. I think I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw. I actually got the prediction for the Brighton game last week right, actually, a 3-1 win. I don't think I got the scorers right. If I'm actually going to go for the scorers in this game, just for a bit of fun, I'll go for Liverpool. I'll go for Mohamed Salah getting a goal, and I'm actually also going to go for Alexander-Arnold getting a goal with a free kick. In our 2 games against Liverpool in the Premier League last season, he scored the exact same free kick against us, and because I have no faith in Kepa, I'm going to go for them to score it again. For the goal scorers for Chelsea, I think I'm actually going to go with a Tammy Abraham goal. I think if he does start, he will pick up a goal for us. And the second goal, I think, is actually quite a tough one. Why not? I'll go with Kai Havertz. Why not? Kai Havertz is going to run in from behind, and he's going to get his first goal in the Chelsea shirt as well. So I'll back those 2 to score. That was my score prediction. You guys saw my team prediction. And please, guys, if you did enjoy this video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more previews of Chelsea games, for more reviews, for FPL content, and for FIFA 21 content when that game is released. Thank you guys all for watching, and I'll see you next time.